Hi, I'm Tim. Join me in this video as I discuss lightweight iron-on coverings for smaller RC models. Let's get to it. Several viewers of the channel have asked about what do you use for lightweight iron-on coverings for the smaller RC models. A good case is something like this Guilo's Aranca Champ. By the way, I'll be showing several models throughout this video that I've covered lightweight coverings. There'll be a link in the description if you want to see the build video for all of these specific models. The short answer, there are very suitable lightweight iron-on coverings. We'll go into more detail through the video. This is an example of ParkLite iron-on covering from Hanger 9, and this is an example from TopFlite of MicroLite covering. And what you'll find, I'll show some names of other lightweight coverings. They all seem to have somewhere in the title the word light, L-I-T-E. That's a hint that it's a lighter weight covering than the standard iron-on coverings. So I'd like to give a very short description of the history of covering model airplanes. We'll get into the lightweight covering. I'll give a short demonstration. I'll show you where you can buy it. If you want to jump ahead, just hover below, and the timeline is broken up into chapters. So for the history of covering model airplanes, of course, it was free flight models back in the 30s, but from the 30s really up to the 1970s, it was pretty standard. You had to have some sort of covering for the airplane. It could be silk, some sort of silk span, or modifications of that. You had to use dope and various paint fillers to put it on and give a finish to it. And some of the coverings and paints were pretty strong chemicals. There was in particular a very popular line that was an epoxy paint, hot epoxy, super epoxy. You actually mixed two parts of the paint. The paint gave a very good finish. You had to know what you're doing. It was incredibly, a lot of odors doing it. As a matter of fact, the chemicals of the hot epoxy paints were so dangerous they were banned by the EPA. You can't buy them anymore. But you had to do that because the paints had to be strong and they had to be fuel proof, because all the models at that time were powered by fuel engines, either glow fuel or gasoline. The fuel and exhaust of those engines were very destructive to finishes and to the balsa structure underneath. The balsa would absorb the fuel. You needed the covering and paint to protect against that. However, the covering of model airplanes changed. It was a revolutionary change in the mid-1960s when TopFlite Corporation came out with what they called MonoKote. Of course, it was kind of a play on the words, mono, one, coat, so a single coat. And for the first time with MonoKote, these iron-on coverings, you had a covering where you just peel off the back, and there was a heat-activated adhesive on the rear of the colored film. You could use an iron to glue it onto the balsa frame. It stuck on just fine. Once the covering was in place, he used a heat gun to activate the covering. It actually shrank, so you get a drum-tight, very strong finish on your model. It looked great. Anybody could do it, and it was completely fuel-proof. So it changed everything. Models took a little bit of a time to adapt to it, but through the 70s, for sure through the 80s, MonoKote became the standard covering for model airplanes. The problem was the MonoKote covering was fine for the larger models. It was strong, it shrunk a lot, but it wasn't really suitable for smaller RC models. The MonoKote weighs about a little over 2 ounces per square meter, which is fairly heavy for a smaller model, and they just needed something lighter to really have something that you could use on the smaller radio control or free flight models. So back during this time, radio control models were fairly large models. 3, 4, 5 foot wingspans are very normal. And the reason for that was the gas engines, but also there just wasn't practical small micro radio control equipment. So that started evolving in the 1990s. Modelers started using electric engines, geared brushed motors with NiCad batteries. But about the year 2000, three things happened. You started to get practical brushless motors that were very small and powerful, lithium polymer batteries, which provided a lot of power for lightweight, and the first real micro radio control electronics. And all those came together with the almost ready and ready to fly airplane industry. There was a huge market out there for others to take smaller RC models and fly them, whether Guilo's conversions or whatever you wanted to do. And so this created a market for lightweight iron-on coverings. And so as I mentioned, the coverings go by various names. ParkLite is an example here. They go on very similar to MonoKote. You peel off the back, they're heat activated, you iron on. But the lightweight coverings are about a third of the weight of MonoKote, which makes all the difference in the world. Also, you can have a lot more control of shrinking these lightweight coverings. The MonoKote was so powerful it could actually warp the structure of smaller models when you were shrinking it. The lightweight ones go on very well. They're both a solid color and transparent colors. They're really ideal for covering smaller radio control models. Let's take a moment to see where you can buy these lightweight coverings. And what I'll do is I'll show you two searches. One, just a Google search to see what's out there, to include Google Shopping. You'll find that the market that describes these things doesn't really pick up on the light covering. It'll put MonoKote with the light ones, but I'll then show you a one-stop shopping at Stevens Aero, where you can buy. It specializes on small micro models. They sell the lightweight covering directly on the website. So let's take a look at the websites now. This is a normal Google search for light iron-on covering for RC planes. It picks up a lot of coverings, iron-on, trim, just coverall. And so you have to kind of look around. So let's take a look at the shopping tab for Google. And again, it picks up all sorts of iron-on coverings, but if we look around, we can find a couple of the lightweight coverings. Here's CoverLite right here and ParkLite down here. Another option for one-stop shopping is Stevens Aero model at stevensaero.com, link in the description. So if we go to model supplies, coverings, and we can see right here they have two brands of light, the AeroLite and the ParkLite. Stevens Aero specializes in these small model kits, and this is a great source of lightweight iron-on coverings. So following are a few examples of models I've covered with these lightweight coverings. This is the Guilo Lancer. This is a very small model. It weighs just about 1.7 ounces. You can see the structure of the wing is literally 1/16 inch balsa for the spars, just a 1/16 inch flat for the leading edge. But it shrinks, it's a flat wing, it doesn't deform the airplane. This is an ideal case of what you can do with lightweight covering. This is another example, a conversion of the Guilo's Aranca. Not too much structure to the wing, but it's a nice tight finish with a transparent yellow, just 1/16 inch balsa for the various spars to include the fuselage. Just very nice covering and easy to apply with a lightweight covering. These lightweight coverings, even though they're a third of the weight of MonoKote, are really quite strong. I don't know the absolute top size model you can build. This is a Dumas Aranca C3 model, all with the ParkLite covering. It's a very strong structure. It goes on very well, and pretty big model for the lightweight covering. And you can see, I think it does a quite good job. A final example of the utility of these lightweight coverings, because again, the lightweight coverings needs less heat than the MonoKote. This is a E-flite Radian ready to fly glider. Great flying kit, and what I did was I took the lightweight covering and put it on the wings and some decorative stripes for the fuselage. Pretty tough foam. It had no effect on the foam. You can see on both sides here it flies well. I stopped adding it to the tail because it was adding just enough weight to affect the center of gravity. It just didn't really have any place to put the nose weight. But again, you can take ready to fly foam models and cover them with a lightweight covering. As we discussed earlier, there are several brands of these light coverings. They're made by different manufacturers. I've used all of them. They all work well for me. You'll have to find your own experience. The problem is, like anything with the modeling industry, products come and go. There's just product delivery cycles and then they're gone. All my research so far, this is being filmed in late 2021, is that MonoKote has ceased production in 2021. They've got a lot made, it'll be distributed, and once that's gone, it's gone. Now there are other products out there, for example, Hangar 9 from Horizon Hobby, which has a pretty good job, has UltraCote. It's basically MonoKote, but it's just a little different style. UltraCote is made in Germany, so that is what's going on with that. So if you find a lightweight covering that you like and you find a source for it, it would be prudent, if you are able to buy several rolls once it's available. There's no guarantee in the future that the color, the type that you want is going to be available. So one thing I do want to mention is here is the ParkLite covering. This is just the yellow covering. One thing that's a little bit hard with this is separating the backing from the portion that you're going to iron on. I wanted to show you one trick. We'll use a little sample balsa here. To separate it, what I do is I take normal Scotch tape and I make a little loop where the sticky side is on the outside of the tape. And then I find an end that has the clear portion on it, and I will just take the tape and put it on here, and this will hold the color tape while I peel off the backing, and you can see the backing is peeled off like that. That makes it quite easy. You also remove the tape. Remember, this is the side we iron on. This is the adhesive side. And there are very good directions that come with any roll of MonoKote, very comprehensive directions, any number of videos. But what you do is you basically take a heat iron. This one is set to about 250 degrees. And all you do is you apply the iron to the covering. And you just kind of play with it. It's good to practice on some scrap balsa. And what the heat is doing is it's activating the adhesive on the back of the covering. It sticks to the balsa. You can apply it to the back. There's any number of ways of applying that as you build techniques. If it's over an open area, you take the heat gun to put heat over here to shrink it up, and you have the nice covering. Thank you for joining me on this video. There are any number of products to cover your lightweight RC models with iron-on covering. I've had great luck with it. It makes things very easy. There's no odor, no mess. We don't worry about fuel proofing with electric models, of course, but it is an option if you have gas-powered models, and best of luck with your modeling efforts.